they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets. Degenerate, yeah, I'm a sicko. Who else gon' get you to the window? I know they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets. Degenerate, yeah, I'm a sicko.
Hey, yo, and welcome to all my fellow golf enthusiasts. Got a very special week. It is open week, boys and girls. We got a special guest that we're going to introduce you to in just a moment. I am Denny One Time, and I'm joined by the logo man, Graybo. How are we doing, Gray?
What's going on, everyone? Ready for the last major of the year. Crazy week last week, having Bobby Mack at 90-1, and then Rory just doing his thing on the last two hardest holes, sticking it to 10 feet, 4 feet, making both putts. It was an awesome I actually didn't get to watch it because I was coming back from a golf trip, but I watched it on my phone, and I'm ready to get to it this week. Ready to go, Denny, ready to go.
Open week, baby. We're also joined by the most underrated postman in Western Henrico JV basketball history, Mr. Ryan Fitz, also our head of IT. Fitz, how are we doing?
Doing well. Great. You had Bobby Mack last week. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we recorded and something happened. Let's ask our producer what happened to the recording. I promise I had Bobby Mack, and I had him for best bet. Won that for everybody, but no one got to hear it.
Yeah. So
Hey.
the lost episode was very, very bad to Gray, but also very, very good to Duke and myself because we made some terrible picks.
We did. Well, I will say my guy Matthew Southgate and Aaron Rye missed the cut by like a stroke and two strokes. But I did have Rory as my 9K and up. I would like to say that. But that's neither here nor there because that was last week. We're on to this week, okay?
Yeah, major week.
And as we do for most majors, we bring in a very special guest. This week, our guest is Booth, as in Booth's one and done, Greene. Boother, what the heck's going on?
What's up, boys? Thanks for having me. It's coming off a 4-day golf bender, ready to give some picks. Hopefully they'll get recorded. If they're not, then we'll try again next year.
At least we'll know.
Happy to be here, ready to talk some golf. One of my favorite weeks of the year. Get up early, 4 a.m., make some coffee, watch some golf. Let's do it.
That's the good life, Booth. I agree with you, my man. Today, we're going to break down everything you need to know going to this weekend's Open Championship at beautiful Royal Liverpool Golf Club in Hoylake, England. We're going to give you some DFS plays, some one-and-done suggestions, our best outright winners, and our favorite play of the weekend, a segment that Booth calls We Ride. So, before we start, Gray, will you give us a brief course update about Royal Liverpool?
Yeah, let's break it down. We're going to Hoylake, like you said, Royal Liverpool Golf Club, par 71, about 7,400 yards. This is links golf again, just like last week. No water hazards because the wind is the first line of defense. If you're watching last week, I got to see a replay of how hard hole 18 was playing in Sunday's wind. Do you guys know the longest drive on 18 on Sunday last week was?
No idea.
270. 270 was the longest drive on 18 because of the wind. And Rory was about 205 yards out, 2-iron. Stinger, stuck it. It was amazing. There was only 3 birdies on 18 the whole day. McIntyre had one and Rory had one to win it. Pretty cool. So if the wind is up, this will be pretty crazy Sunday finish. I sent a couple of the Instagram pictures to a couple people about the out of bounds boundary on 18. It's pretty freaking crazy where it is. I don't know if that's going to stay like that or they're going to move it, but it looks pretty tight. Fescue all over the place. So hitting fairways will be extremely important this week. There's not a lot of room to miss either. Very tight fairways. Very flat course, though, especially on the greens. Out of bounds will be in play really on 6 holes. Deep bunkers, but flat greens. So you're able to keep it in play in the fairway. You're able to hit the greens. You could score low here. So you're looking for your ball strikers this week for sure. 2 two big names, one here back when it was in 06 and 2014. Tiger in 06, Rory in 2014. So one last week. I could be wrong. Was that his last time he won a major? 2014?
Yeah, but it was but he won at Valhalla later that summer.
Major. So he's back. Would be pretty cool. Last time he won a major, it was here, and he wins it again. Would be pretty cool. Fescue on the fairways and rough, but the greens is a little combination of fescue and bent grass. So what we need to look for in our golfers when we're picking, especially for DraftKings, obviously strokes gained approach. Scotty's pretty good at that. Open championship experience with links golf. You're definitely looking at recent form. Who played well last week. Who came here early to get a lay of the land. Total driving or fairways hit, birdie or better percentage, and strokes gained putting is going to be the stats I'm looking for as Fitz hits himself with the lamp. You all right there?
Yep, doing great.
Okay. And so that is the breakdown of the course. Back to you, Jimmy.
Well, thank you, Gray. Yeah, so Rory won it the last time I was here, and then two guys were tied for second. Do you guys know who they were?
Ricky Fowler was one.
Yeah, Sergio and Ricky Fowler. Obviously, Sergio isn't as relevant today, but Ricky, obviously, coming off his first win in a while, pretty interesting to have back at a place where both Fowler and Rory thrived. So our first segment is DFS picks. We're going to break it into three different sections. Chalk is 9K and up. Value is 7 to 9K. And then long shots are folks under 7K. So let's start at the top. Gray, who do you like at 9,000 and above?
Gosh, I like so many guys, but to break it down, save some salary, there's two names I really like at the lower end of 9K that will fit a lot in like your core. If you want to play someone like a Scotty, you can also play one of these guys. And two of my favorites are Hatton at 9,400 and Fleetwood at 9,300. Both in great form. I mean, these guys are in the top 10, seems like almost every week. They played well last week. And then their Open Championship history in the last 2 years, Fleetwood has a 4th and a 2nd. Hatton has an 11th and a 6th. So good value for those two guys. I like both their numbers, too, when you're looking at betting them to win. So I have a lot of them, exposure to them. I know they will be popular, but I think you need one of them to get your team going. And then I'm going Scotty. I mean, his price is ridiculous, but this guy is unbelievable. If he can just putt, he's shipping this thing. He's 12.5, which is insane. But there's a lot of guys in the 6Ks that I like this week that you can mix with him. And then if you want to get different, I throw Hovland in there because he's just a great ball striker. He's only played in the Open twice, and he has a 4th and a 12th, and his form is insane as well. His last 5, no worse than 29th. So he's coming in with good form, good experience. He knows the links pretty well. If he can, and his putting's getting better, so I can see him doing well this week as well. So those are kind of my 4 guys I will be circling for DraftKings up top.
Nice. Okay. Fitz, who do you like at the top?
Yeah, and real quickly, Tim Wainer's in the chat. He wanted to say that the greens are actually a combination of bent grass, fescue, and POA. So we know Tim has to make that correction. Thank you, Tim. At the top, I like Rory at 11-9. I don't see a way how he's not competing in this tournament. And I'm also going to go with Morikawa at 9-6. Open champion, trending the right direction, playing good ball striker. I really like Morikawa this week in like every angle.
Okay. Booth, who are you taking at the tippy top?
I mean, Gray talked about him, but Scotty's 12.5. I know his price is absurd, but guys, he's playing absurd golf right now. Like, he's played in 2 Opens. He's got a top 10 and a tied for 21st. Hasn't finished outside the top 12 in a year of playing golf. And his last 11 tournaments, his worst finish strokes gained tee to green is 5th, and it was last week, and he finished 3rd. Like Gray said, like, he just putts. he'll win. Like, there's no reason why he couldn't win. He's just putters holding him back, and he's not like putting that bad, but he's putting bad for Scotty, which is what's holding him back. So love him. Koepka, he's just a major hunter. I think he was probably a little hungover for the last one after winning the PGA. Probably just didn't really take it too seriously. He was a little hyped up, but I still like him here. He's got 4 top 10s at the British Lifetime, and that hangover should be gone. And then lastly, I took him last week. I bet him at the Scottish Open, and he burned me. Gray was in the car with me on the way home from our golf trip, hearing me curse him out. But Spieth, man, 9 appearances, never missed a cut here at 9,700, 5 top 10s and a win. Just feels like everyone will be off him this week because he missed the cut last week. But I just kind of feels like the golf that he's the best at, where he can like make stuff up on the go on every hole. So I'm riding those 3 up top.
I actually love Spieth this week. His Open, like, have you seen his Open? Like, his Opens are unbelievable. Like, I like that he missed the cut last week. Yeah,
never missed a cut here, and like I like it too. I think it makes him more popular.
And doesn't have jet lag because him and Fowler and JT have been in Europe for 3 weeks now after hanging out at Wimbledon,
buying a soccer team.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone was more excited than Duke when he saw Ricky, JT, and Spieth dressed at Wimbledon. Like, look at these kings
with their wives.
What did you think of Spieth's suit? There was a little bit of controversy about that suit, Duke.
That's a Tim Weiner question. I like their energy. The fact that they were wearing fancy hats and their women had fancy dresses and they were sitting there watching the King's sport. It was just beautiful, man. It was beautiful. For me, I've got 4 names circled. I'm going to mix in as my core: Rory, Cam Smith, Hatton, and Fleetwood. I do think Rory's going to ship it. It just feels too right. And this is usually when Rory screws me, but I'm gonna have faith in him. Cam Smith, not as many people are talking about him, and he's at 10,700. Hatton and Fleetwood, as Gray mentioned, I think are bargains at that price, 9,400, 9,300. Look at Fleetwood's history in the Open, and he played well last week, really until Sunday. Hatton, who I never believe in, and I'm starting to believe in him the last month. He's been playing really well. And like Hatton and Fleetwood at that price, they don't have to win it. They just need to be like top 5, top 7. Rory and Scotty really at their prices really have to win it, maybe second for their price to be justified. So let's go to value between 7,000 and 9,000. A lot of different names I see on our list here, so this should be interesting. Gray, you take it away. Who do you like in that range?
Yeah, my first one I feel like is just a gut feeling. Like, I love this guy, and he has not been good in majors, but coming off a 12th place last week, I feel like he's starting to get back into form. I feel like you can pivot to him a lot at 8,400. Feels like a bargain to me. Is Max Homa. He's a good golfer. I think his form is starting to come back. Like I said, great last week. And I'm just looking for someone in this range that is going to be kind of lower than a lot of people. I feel like this range, people are going to go up to Scotty and then have to come back down to the 8Ks. And I don't think they're going to be circling Homa just because of his history. But he had a good week last week. And I said, if he had a good week, I'm going to feel like I'm going to take him this week. And I'm going to take Max Homa. I like Max. Shout out Max Fitz. All right. And then my second guy, Min Woo Lee, 7,700. Dude, have you looking at his majors, 5th in the U.S. Open this year, 17th at the PGA. He was 6th at the Players. Don't think he maybe made the cut at the Masters or just missed it on the number. But he did well in the Masters last year. So, he does well at the majors. This is a good guy for the President's Cup for the international team. He's playing very well. I think he hit a pitching wedge 225. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right?
Last week.
It must have been a lot of wind, but still, that's incredible. So I like Min Woo. I'm going to have a lot of him. I think he's just good at majors. He's ready for the competition. And then I'm going to go with another guy that's just been playing well in Europe, is Ryan Fox at 7,400, 12th last week, having a fantastic year in Europe. So like him and like that price a lot. And then I'm going to sprinkle Connors and McCarthy just because Connors is a great ball striker, hits fairways, will hit greens, and he has a good price tag. And then McCarthy is just a great putter that makes cuts. So I will sprinkle on both of those guys.
Okay, Fitz.
Yeah, I love the Connors play at 7,700. Definitely going to ride him. I also really like Wyndham Clark at 8,700. I feel like he's just so still severely underrated. He's like, whether you like it or not, he's like probably a top 10 golfer in the world.
Yes.
And at 8,700, he's just like, in my opinion, very undervalued. And I don't know how much people are going to take him this week, so might be a good ownership play. And then lastly, I'll go Siwoo, 7,300. He's hot, man. He's coming off of a miscut at Travelers and hasn't played since, so I gotta have some Siwoo this week.
All right, Boothie, who we like 7 to 9K?
Woo woo, see woo, love see woo. I think this is the hardest tier to pick from, in my personal opinion. I struggled with this one. I like Tom Kim. He's been playing well. He finished tied for 47th last year and finished top 10 last week at the Scottish Open. Seems to be getting his swag back a little. I think the hype was a little high on him earlier in the year. Probably felt a little bit of pressure, but he's been playing a lot better golf as of late. 2 top 10s in his last 2 starts. And then I'm going to go with a veteran, the guy that's probably played, besides Tiger and a few others, the most Opens in the last 20 years. He's played 22 Opens, and last time it was here in 2014, he tied for 5th. Just a good ball striker, hits a lot of greens, great iron player, really tan, always tan, Greg.
Good looking.
Good-looking guy. Good-looking guy. He'll be in his brown or tan sweater all weekend. So I think Adam Scott's a good play at this tier.
Yeah, I like your Tom Kim pick. I'm gonna sprinkle in some Tom Kim at 8,100. Had a good week last week. Brian Harman, he checked all the boxes for me, which are playing well lately, playing well historically in the British Open, and then actually played in this 2014 and did well there at this course. So I'm going to sprinkle him in at 7,300, pretty good deal. And then a guy that people have kind of forgotten about is On at 7K. He kind of emerged last week and made an appearance, and he actually played well in this in 2014 at this event as well. And 7K, he's a steal if he plays like he's capable of. So let's head down to under 7K. Gray says he likes some guys in this range. Gray, who do you like?
Yeah, I just like all the giblets that you guys are bringing with the 2014 crew. Y'all went back deep. Yeah, you think I would go Bobby Mack here. Like, I don't hate that at all. I think Bobby Mack is a great play at 6,800. He's only like 70 to 1. And at 6,800, that's pretty good. So I just think he's going to be massive, like, ownership. If you did you guys watch any of the replay or watch it at all? Like, he thought he won that thing. Like, he was like, Rory going to 17 and 18. Those are impossible holes. And then you saw his body language in his face. Like, I just think last week took it out of him. I think it would be a good fade. I don't know if I could fully fade him, though, at that price. So we'll see. But the guy right next to him at 6,800, Jordan Smith, he's from England, 12th last week. Solid form last 5 tournaments. I think his last 5 tournaments has all been like top 30, which is awesome for his price. So I'll have a lot of Jordan Smith. And then Dietrich, which Duke talked about a lot last week. The man was leading in second after day 1. Kind of fell off there, but his price is 6,400. Now, that's incredible. Now, if his ownership, I feel like, is going to be over 10%, I'll pivot to my German at 6,500, Yannick Paul. Like I said, this guy, excuse me, is 3rd in Ryder Cup standings for European points behind Rahm and Rory. Made the cut last week, was 6 under day 1, and just kind of had a steady weekend. Nothing too crazy, but at 6,500, that's all you need. So a lot of good things down here in the 6K range, and then you can throw Bobby Mack as well. And I kind of like one of Fitz's guys, too, that's not named Louis.
Fitz, talk about your guys.
I like a couple guys who are in form right now. Louis, former Open winner, 6,900. He's also playing pretty well the last couple times on Live. And then JT Poston, talking about post play in me and my JV days. 6,500 back to back top sixes. I mean, this course correlates exactly with the John Deere. So I love Poston here.
Sorry, caught me off guard with that one. Who do you like under 7K?
That's dropping Giblets.
It doesn't necessarily correlate with the John Deere, but it does obviously with the Scottish last week. So
yeah, he played well last week. I like the post.
Yeah, he played well last week.
Yep.
He was on my radar. I like him. This range is like if you're playing DFS and you're trying to find somebody sub 7, you just want them to make the cut. So like the two guys that I picked. One, Bobby Mack. Gray's talked about him. We've talked about him already earlier in the show. I just feel like 6,800 is a steal for him, for somebody who's tied for second last week, 2 top 10s in his previous 3 opens. So he definitely can play well. He's from Scotland, so I'd expect him to make the cut, which is really what you want in this range. And then I'm going to recommend somebody who's not in good form. He's not particularly been playing well like lately, but in general, he's played well at the Open in his history. He's only missed 2 cuts in 10 tries at the Open. His name's Danny Willett, 6,700, former Masters champ. He's got 4 top 15s here. I mean, if you look at his last 5 or 6 tournaments, he hasn't been great. He's got a couple missed cuts in here, but I'm gonna take a flyer at this range because this is at the point where you're just trying to fill out lineups and get some 6 for 6s through for the weekend.
Yeah, and I'm on the Bobby Mack train as well. Normally I would actually fade him for the reasons that Gray mentioned, but I looked at his British Open history and then I looked how well he played last week. I fully expected his price to be closer like to 8,000, and I kept scrolling and scrolling, and I'm like, "Where is this guy?" And he was 6,800, and I don't understand it based on form and history.
I think they release the Open prices before like Scottish starts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is the only reason why I think he's like 6,800.
Look at the last 3 British Opens, and like he's in the top 10 2 of the 3 times. For that price, it's just a steal. I couldn't pass it up, and I think normally I would really honestly fade the guy who comes in second in his home tournament, but he finished strong. He didn't lose it. Like he just finished and someone else caught him. And then when you saw his face afterwards, he goes, "Oh well, if he made it, he made it." Like, so it just makes me think that he can get over it and play well. So let's hope he does. That he's my guy under 7. All right, so let's head into the one and done. This is kind of how Booth became famous, is running a legendary one and done tournament pool. Excuse me. And so we're having 2 picks this week, a Barracuda pick and an Open pick. Before we start, Fitz can tell us how well or how poorly we're doing year to date in the one and done, in Booth's one and done. Fitz, how are we doing?
Yeah, and if someone has the updated standings, I think we're all about the same. Gray, did you stayed in 5th?
Yeah, I stayed in 5th.
Booth, where are you at?
Oh, I have the standings right. Let me pull up the live standings. We got Gray. We got Gray in 5th. I am in 42nd, so I am really killing it. Duke's in 59th.
The other 2.
Yeah, Duke's in 59th, and Fitz is...
Just keep scrolling.
Fitz is down there in 75th.
Yeah, so 75th. It's funny because we talked about this before, but I spend like probably the most time on the week. Booth knows because he has to send me the late night reminder email to get my pick in, and I just waffle and think about this pick so much, and I'm so bad at it, but I really do love it. So Booth, shout out to you for putting this pool together. I know it's a lot of work to corral all the picks and keep track of everything, but yeah, that's the update.
Okay, so Gray, give me both picks, Open pick and Barracuda pick.
Yeah, Open pick. I mean, I'm going with Cam Smith, one, because I don't have a lot of guys left. All the reasons that Duke mentioned earlier about Cam, them defending champ. He is a live guy, so this is the last time you get to use a live guy. I'm just running out of players, and he's just a solid guy. I think he's like 20-1, 18-1 in some books. I think he could chip it again, so it would be awesome. And then for, the Barracuda, Stableford. Pendrith, the Canadian, had a good week last week. I think he was tied for stroke gained approach, so I like that coming into a Stableford competition. I think he's third favorite. So I'll take Pendrith.
Okay, Fitz.
I'm going to go with Ricky. I think almost everyone's used him over the last, 4 or 5 weeks, right? So hopefully I can get a little bit different here and make up some ground with five remaining tournaments. And then I'm going to go Hubbard in the Barracuda. He finished fourth last year, so I'll go with Mark Hubbard.
All right, Old Mother Hubbard. Booth, who are you taking in your own pool?
Yeah, I'm running out of guys. I'm with Gray, and it doesn't really matter because I'm so far back with the first guy. But last week to use a live guy for the season, so I'm going to roll Dustin Johnson. Just a guy who I think flies under the radar, and people forget how good he is. He's got 5 top 10s and 13 opens, and he's 2 in the last 2 years. He's been rolling here the last 2 years. He had us tied for 6th last year and tied for 8th in 2021. So I'm going to take him. And then I'm going to, same with Gray, I roll with Taylor Pendrith. Good result last week. I think he's close. Game's trending. He's played pretty well all year. I feel like he's due for his first win. So I'm going to roll him here this week. Makes a lot of birdies.
Yeah, all my guys, I wanted to take either Rory or Hatton or Fleetwood, but I'm taking all 3 of those guys. So I'm trotting out Cam Smith. And I don't hate the pick. As Gray said, he could ship it. In the Barracuda, the 2 favorites are actually Kashmir Keith and Jaegerbaum, and I've already used Kashmir Keith, so I'm going to take Jaegerbaum. Just hope that the chalk holds there. Let's head into outright winners. What folks are you looking to bet to ship it this week, Gray?
Yeah, I know, Booth, that on our sheet it says only 1 to 2 bets, but we get a little carried away. At the majors, I
figured I know you guys well enough.
I got a lot again. So I talked about Hatton and Fleetwood. I really like them. I'm going to use DraftKings boost. Love that boost to get Hatton to 28 to 1. Fleetwood's at 25 to 1. So good number. I like that, 25 to 1. I really like Spieth's number. Booth talked about him early on. His numbers at the Open are awesome, and 30 to 1 is a really good number. So if he wins and I'm not on it, I'll be kicking myself. So definitely taking Spieth. Hogland or Victor Hovland, 22 to 1. And then I always take my one and done pick in majors just in case they ship it. So Cam Smith, 20 to 1. You can find him at DraftKings at 20 to 1 because the rest are at 18. So at least you get him at 20. And then my little sprinker, my McIntyre of last week, a lot higher, 200 to 1. Jordan Smith. Throw a couple bucks on that and just see what happens.
I like it. Fitz, I know you're probably going to bet 30 guys, but which 6 are you going to tell us about today?
Yeah, and no one knows that better than Booth when I'm randomly texting him. I'll be like, oh, yeah, I also have him. And he'll mention another, well, actually, I have a little bit of him, too. So I'm going to go Brooksy for what Booth talked about, right? He's a major hunter, 21 to 1 with the DK boost. I'll grab some of that. Ricky, I'll also tail my one and done. He's 25 to 1 everywhere. Hovland, 25 to 1 on FanDuel. My favorite bet is Morikawa, 35 to 1. I'm going to probably put too many units on that one. I really like him this week. Wyndham Clark, I already talked about him at 60 to 1. And then I'll throw out another guy who I think is really undervalued, which is Hideki. He hasn't been mentioned. He's 80 to 1.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his DK price, not that you should, but he's in the mix at I forget what his price is, close to 9, 87 or 9. So he's just it's just a weird variance there, pretty big delta. So I'm gonna just sprinkle a little Decky 81. I also kind of want to throw in some DJ after listening to Booth. I think he was sitting at 35 to 1. So.
That's you got Hovland at 25. I want to go on record that I'm going to FanDuel after this again. I'm at 25.
Yeah, he's currently on FanDuel at 25. I just opened it up while we were talking.
Hey, Booth. Booth, do you know the story about Gray's uncle going to bet on Hialeah? Have you ever heard this story?
No.
And high lie, you bet like on an individual player, and if that player is like 12 guys or how many guys are playing, and like if your guy wins, you win. So his uncle comes back after cashing a ticket. He's like, and they're like, you picked that guy? You bet on that guy? He's like, yeah, I bet on all of them.
Well, yeah. So he comes back before the match and is like smiling. I'm like, what are you smiling about? He's like, I can't lose. No one
I
knew
love
why.
that.
What do you mean you can't lose? I bet on every guy.
I love that.
That's Fitz on Sundays, man. I love it.
I am Gray's uncle, so.
All right, Booth. I see you have more of a rifle approach as opposed to a shotgun approach here. Who are you betting on?
I'm gonna swallow the points here and bet Scotty. I know his number's not great. It's not appealing for golf. It's good for just about any other sport, but not for golf betting. But it's 6-1 on FanDuel right now. I'm gonna bet him. I just think he's a good putting week away from winning. We've talked about Hovland a couple times. I think Fitz and Gray both are taking him. I like Hovland as well. And then the two guys I talked about earlier, 30-1 for Spieth, and DJ's 33-1 right now on FanDuel. I typically use FanDuel for my golf odds, so that's where I'm getting all these for this week. Those four guys.
Nice. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on Cam Smith at 20-1, Hatton at 25, Fleetwood at 28. And then I kept scrolling down. And I saw Tom Kim at 75-1, which I think is pretty juicy. And then I was going to fade Robbie Mack, but then I saw him at 70-1 and I faded it. But then I went to a different site and got him at 90-1. I said, how great of a story that'd be if he comes back and wins it after coming in the second week before. So give me Robbie Mack at 90-1.
Great. You got to bet it again at 90-1.
If you win that and I didn't win it last, oh my God.
I know. So and for me, like Rory and Scotty, just at 6.5, I just couldn't do it. I might kick myself on the Rory especially, but I'm just going to pass on those guys.
It's probably going to be one of those guys. And we didn't talk about Rom, but any comments on Rom?
Yeah, so he's at what, 12? He's at 12-1?
Yeah, third favorite. We didn't talk about him anything, betting, DraftKings.
Yeah. He just cooled off a little bit, right?
Yeah, would you be surprised if he won? No, but
no.
Just coming in, it's not praise for him.
Yeah, major winners rarely surprise you. I mean, it does sometimes, right? Usually, you've seen something in the last month that said, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Even Wyndham Clark, right? It made sense when he won it. He had played well, but it's rare that somebody comes out of nowhere. And Ron wouldn't be coming out of nowhere, but he hasn't done much in the last month that's got people excited, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cool. Again, I could be wrong. He could ship it, and we'd all lose all of our money. So, all right. So let's get into our best bet of the week. So Booth, as you know, hopefully already, this can be a bet to win. It could be a top 20. It could be a matchup bet. It could be anything you want. But you got one unit to place. Where are you placing it? Fitz can tell us how we're doing year to date. And you guys didn't hear it because it didn't get recorded. But I got a little saucy last week. I got a little cocky because I had a lead. And instead of taking a more of a sure top 10, top 20, top 40 bet, I did a crazier bet and it did not pan out. So I dropped a unit. So Fitz, take it from there.
I believe you said #kill shot.
Kill shot.
Kill shot, yeah.
On Southgate top 20 or something.
Matthew
Yeah.
Southgate.
Yeah,
that's okay. You're still up a unit in a third. I dropped a unit. I took Aaron Rye. I was big on Rye last week. He did not make the cut, so I'm up a half unit. And my boy Gray is all the way back.
He's
with
back.
Baby.
Plus 320. I think top 20 to get him back. I mean, he was down 2.5 units. He's back in we're all in the pluses.
Who did you take top 20?
So I took Bobby Mack top 20.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Plus 320.
Good for you, man. Great pick.
Didn't get recorded. My best bet of the year.
Well, again, just to clarify, it did get recorded. I just recorded the podcast on mute. So that's why we don't hire professionals and we do it in house.
I think Vintage Don would prefer to hear Gray on mute for an hour versus the real thing. Shout out Vintage Don.
Shout out Don.
Vintage, our number one listener. What's up, Vintage?
All right, Gray coming in hot. What is your bet? Your one bet of the week, Gray?
Yeah, I kind of use all of our picks on three guys I think are going to make the cut. And I came up with Minwoo Lee, Bobby Mack, Tom Kim, all three to make the cut at plus 206, so about plus 200. I like that a lot.
Okay.
And that's going to be my bet, my favorite bet of the week.
That plus money. Fitz, what's your bet of the week?
Yeah, I can't go an episode without talking geography here. So gotta put in some Tommy Fleetwood. He grew up 10 miles away from this course. So I'm going with the Tommy top Brit and a Rombo top Spaniard parlay plus 425 on DK. I don't see and there's some good British players. There's no way Rom doesn't win top Spaniard. So it's just Tommy beating out Hatton and Rose. I mean,
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he's playing not very well. So.
Who's Rom's competition? Sergio's not even playing.
Exactly.
There's a bunch of DP World Tour guys.
I'm about to load that bet up.
Yeah, and then this is an effort to just say as many names as possible in this podcast so that one of us can claim that we said this name. But Duke's boy Harris English, I feel like this is a good course fit. This isn't going to be like my actual pick, but I just like this. This is just an extra giblet for the listeners. Harris English top 30 plus 400. That seems like really good value.
But that's not part of your best
bet.
bet.
Not for the competition.
Okay.
So just throwing it out there for the kids. Throwing out giblets. I like it. All right, Booth, where's your one unit going? You got a couple of them, looks like.
And before Booth goes, let's just say a lot of pressure on Booth because we had Tripp ship his best bet. We had Wayner ship his best bet. So, Booth, no pressure.
I've been living in Tim Wayner's shadow for the last 10 years of my life, so it's not a problem. I misunderstood. I have 3, so I'm gonna I put a unit on all of these. I've talked about it 100 times. Scotty Scheffler, top 10, minus 145. Like I just said, he hasn't finished outside the top 10 in the year. I don't think it's going to start this week. I think he's just playing too well. And if I think scoring is going to be like it is, like he just hits the ball too straight and hits too many greens, so I'm going to bet him to make the top 10. I got a matchup, Spieth versus X-Man. Spieth plus 105. I'm going to I bet a unit on that all week. I love that matchup for Spieth. And then I don't like to bet people to miss the cut. It's not like a fun thing, but Keegan Bradley does not have the best Open record. He's missed 3 cuts in a row at the Open Championship. He's missed 5 in 9 tries, and he's plus 122 to miss the cut. So I'm gonna gamble, and I like Keegan. Like he's a great guy to root for, but he just doesn't seem to like this style of golf. So I'm gonna bet
like the win. Not a links guy.
Yeah, he's more of a U.S. Open, straight in front of you guy, PGA Championship. So I'm going to bet him to miss the cut at plus 122.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's interesting. I do like that. And honestly, after hearing y'all's, I don't like mine as much. So I reserve the right to change it. I'll say this on the podcast, and I might change it between now and Thursday. This is Tuesday night for those.
This man's copying my stuff from last week. Wants to get it out there so people hear it.
Yeah. So all right. So I'm taking Robbie Mack top 20 plus 260. But I'm just saying I'm having some doubts, which my best bet, you're supposed to come in pretty confident. So I may switch that up, but that's my bet for now. Robbie Mack, top 20, plus 260. Yeah, well, I'm excited about this weekend, boys. Booth, you want to tell the kids where you're playing golf at in 2 days?
Yeah, up in Connecticut this week with visiting my parents, taking my dad to Bethpage Black. Probably gonna shoot 140, but gonna have a great time with my dad. So very excited to walk. It's walking only too. I just learned that no carts, so I gotta walk.
Will you please play the tips and play your ball out the whole way and just see what you actually get?
I would love that.
So I looked at the scorecard. They only have 3 sets of tees, and the tips are one of them, and they're 7,200, and then the next set down is 65. So
7,200.
Should I play the 7,200 tips and report my score? I can't imagine.
That's my best bet of the weekend is over 135 for Booth from the tips. I'm taking my Robbie Mack bet back.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be a pretty good bet from 7,200.
Oh, that's great, man. Enjoy that with your pops.
Yeah,
thanks.
Sure.
Well, boys, really enjoyed it. That is all for today. Appreciate all the listeners out there riding with Gray Bows. Be sure to tune in next time to see how the group fared We would be honored if you gave us a follow and a review. You can email us at info@graybos.co. You can follow us on the gram at graybos_cards. Stop by the shop located at 214 East Gray Street in Richmond, Virginia, and you can catch us breaking 5 nights a week on the Drip app, Monday through Friday. Graybo, Fitz, appreciate you, Booth. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see how many listens you get in comparison to Trip Howard, because Trip put Tim to shame. I think so far our most listened to episode is Trips, and Tim was like in 7th place. So
it wasn't even top 5, right? That was so funny.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Thanks for riding with Graybos.
Giblets. Thanks, Boo.
When I go to sleep, I don't see sheep, see dollar signs. $100 got him beat the eyes for the 100th time at a money line. Brock Purdy was irrelevant, now I'm at the front like a cutting line. G5 to the power 5, Grable's on fire like it's summertime. I know they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets. Degenerate, yeah, I'm a sicko. Who else gon' get you to the window? I know they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets. Degenerate, yeah, I'm a sicko. Who else gon' get you to the window?